Hello and very welcome to another challenge video. I mean, I like challenges as much as the next person, but often a lot of them are too rigid for me, so I'm really happy that now I found one that sounds great, which is the r/fantasy bingo card. And I've heard a bit about it, so I figured why not look into it. So I printed out the bingo card so that I can use it as a huge sticker and put it onto my challenge spread right here. And as you can see, I'm putting it down quite carefully. So I first only put down the bottom and use the back of the sticker paper to make sure that I can align it nicely before I pull it off and stick it down bit by bit. I tend to find that this works best for such big stickers. So in case you want to do something similar, that's my recommendation for those. Anyways, I chose this challenge because I can plan it out over a whole year and I don't have a more specific time frame of having to do something every single month, which feels good for me because I already have my own spring reading challenge that I will link for you, of course. And that one is only for 3 months because I tend to get overwhelmed easily if I have to do something every single month for a longer time. So with that said, I do want to also use this challenge to get some more books from my physical TBR read, so I will be picking as many as possible from those, but I will also have to use a few books from the library because otherwise I just won't be able to fit all the prompts. And of course, for this spread I also want to make it look nice, but I will keep the decoration quite simple, as I do want to use the second page to write down all the titles of the books that I read and color in the different covers, so this spread will likely become quite colorful anyway, and because of that I don't want to overdo the decorations. But back to the challenge. I've heard about it quite a few times, and I've recently watched Leandra's video on the topic, and of course I'll link it down below, and she decided to go for 2 complete plans of how to fill the whole card, one for fantasy and one for sci-fi, which I thought was a really cool idea. But for myself, I won't go that far and I'll just do a single card and mix it up as I feel like it. And also I have to say that I won't be planning out everything just yet, but I rather want to go on bit by bit as I find suitable books that I do want to read anyways. So to get me started, I looked through all the prompts and I found the first 10 books that I can use to fit in here, and most of them are actually from my own physical TBR, which is great, and the others that I picked so far are also ones that I have available through the library and will be having in my hands or on my e-reader soon enough. So let's look through the 10 prompts that I have already chosen. So while I go through all the different spaces on this bingo card, I will only stop for the ones that I already have ideas for, because otherwise it will take a lot longer and I don't want to do that. And once we get through a lot of the books that I will be telling you about right now, then I will actually go ahead and figure out what to read for the next ones and make a new video about those as well. So I'm gonna go and start in the translated field, because I have something in there that fits for hard mode even, and that is this lovely book, which is The Blanket Cats, and it is by a Japanese author and was first translated in 2024, so with that said, that is within the last 5 years, and so it would count for hard mode as well. I will say that I'm not gonna go for hard mode completely because I think this will be challenging enough as it is, but if I can get it quite easily, then I'll of course go ahead and take it. So with this first square done, we can go ahead to the next one, and that one is a small press or a self-published book. And I will say that I don't have too many of those normally, but in this case, because I've been around on YouTube for a bit, I have Managing and Other Lies by Willow Heath, who is also on YouTube. And since I've been listening to her videos for quite a while, I picked up this book a few months ago. And I don't read too much horror, so I have to be in the right space of mind to actually read it. But I am sure that I will get around to it this year, so I think that fits in here really well, because of course it's self-published. And with that said, I was thinking about the next square, the unusual transportation, but even though I feel like the dragons in my favorite series are used and written in a quite different way than normal, with a whole crew manning them like kind of a ship, or like an airship, more like it, I don't think that counts, so I'm gonna leave this open for now. And I will go ahead all the way to square number 7, which is a game changer. And for that one, I think there's quite a lot of books out there that can be read, but I've also read quite a few of them. And the one that I picked for this one is Red Rising, which is the first part in a series that I've been wanting to read anyway. And I will have it from the library in just another week or so, because I've already had it on hold for quite a while. And that of course has a game element in there, which is why I'm gonna go ahead and pick it for now. The next ones I'm gonna keep open because I do have quite a lot of options to choose from for those, so I'm just gonna wait and see if I come across something that makes really a lot of sense for that. But over here with the duology, I'm still thinking about doing the hard mode and reading 2 different duologies for this one, but one of them will definitely be this one, which the first book is Dance of Thieves, because that's another one from my physical TBR, and I really want to get around to reading it because I've just lately heard another booktuber talk about it as well, and they really enjoyed it, and I figured actually probably it's time to really pick this offer back up and go into this book. And of course I might be choosing the second book in the series, in the duology, to put in here because I've already read from this offer before, or otherwise I might just use both of them, which would be fine for me as well. Then next up, the book club or read-along book. This one I'm not gonna go for the hard mode because I don't really use Reddit that much and I don't want to have an account just to talk about this. I mostly just lurk and read things. So I picked one of the books that were in a book club a while ago, and that book is also one that I really have been wanting to read, and this is a great reason to read it, which is The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. And I've also seen this at my library and I know that I can get it, so I'm gonna pick it up from there to read. With that said, I don't want to pick anything that's published this year or anything about explorers and rangers yet, because I want to keep those open for me if I see something that I really think would fit well in there and that I would enjoy. And so I'm gonna go on to the next row, which is the one-word title. And for that I'm gonna actually pick a German book because it just fits really well. And that is Endling, which is kind of a play on words, so it's not quite a normal, I don't know, a noun. So I think this should be fine and fit in here really well. And it's a biologically themed book, so I've been wanting to read it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So one more reason to go for this. And then of course we can use the next square, the non-human protagonist, which is quite nice because I literally just started the Murderbot Diaries. And the next book that I want to read in those is book 2, which is Artificial Condition. And this one, of course, fits in really well because basically the POV is Murderbot, so it's not a human. With that said, let's skip ahead to the end of this row, to the murder mystery, which is something that I'm not reading that many of at the moment, but there's one that I will be rereading, so I will use my reread for this one, and that is actually on my TBR for this month. That's Glennkill, which is the German name for the book. The English one is 3 Bags Full. And as you can see on the cover, the main POV in this book are the sheep. So I think that would fit quite well as a main character that's not a detective or a private investigator, and this would be okay for hard mode as well. So moving on, we have the next square as Cat Squasher. And while that sounds like having to do something with a cat, it actually just refers to the thickness of the book, and it wants a book that's more than 500 pages. I'm really kind of sad that I didn't start this a bit earlier. Well, I couldn't have started because it just came out on April 1st, but I literally just finished a 760 page book, so that would have been nice to use for that. But I have one more book on my physical TBR that also fits this prompt really well, and that I have been wanting to read at some point, which is The Black Prism, and one of my best friends recommended it to me, so I should really get around to it, but I'm a bit intimidated, and that's why I'm gonna put it on my challenge TBR now, so that hopefully that will help me get around to it. The next prompt on here is Feast Your Eyes on This, which is meant to have something to do with food or a meal. And that's something that I'm not really sure if I want to do that, so I'm thinking about maybe swapping this one out, which is allowed for 1 square as well. But I am not gonna make any decisions as of yet, and I'm just gonna leave it here for now. But I do have one more book that I have planned, and that is for politics and court intrigue, and it fits more with the first part. And as the description says, that this can cover anything from royalty, elections, and wars, I figured why not go with a book that deals with a lot of war, which is called Black Powder War. And this is the 3rd book in the Temeraire series, which is an alternate history with dragons. And I've really enjoyed the first 2 books already, and I really want to go ahead and read that quite soon as well, and this gives me an excuse to do so. So I'll take it. So yeah, those are the first 10 books that I think would fit onto this bingo card. And in case you're wondering about the size of my little covers on here, those are not the ones that I will be using for here. I will actually just paint them in the right color. And these covers are for the reading journal spreads that I will do for these books. And I just have most of them printed out already if I know that I will be reading them soon. So yeah, that's it for this video, I think. If you have any great recommendations for the spaces that I didn't look into yet, or if you have any questions about the books that I did put down here, feel free to put it down in the comments. And if you're interested in hearing me talk about any of these books, then feel free to come back to my channel in the future and maybe even subscribe so that you won't miss it. So let me know if you actually are interested in this challenge as well, and if so, which book you will be starting it off with. For myself, I think the first one of these books that I will be reading is probably Red Rising, because I will get that from the library really soon, and it's on my TBR for this month. But Glennkill is as well, so maybe that one will be my second one. We'll see. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was a bit different to my normal videos, and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Have a really great time, and see you then. Bye!